Gregg Brown, and I'm here talking to an amazing musician and entertainer. Shaun, introduce yourself.
I'm Shaun Shears. I'm a singer-songwriter with Arthritis Cerebral Palsy, and I guess I'm meeting Gregg Brown from Osibisa for the first time.
But yeah, we do know each other, and where I met you actually, we did our master's degree together.
That was really cool. I mean, because I actually wanted to go and do a songwriting course in Brighton. And they just weren't really equipped, and they had no studios there. And I was like, how am I meant to be on a songwriting course if I got no goddamn studio and all this? Yeah. So I thought, I'll go do this MA course. I sat there, and there's this one guy in the class who was literally handing out these vinyls and going, you know who that is on the vinyl? And I'm like, Lionel Richie, that's me. So I was like, oh, damn, man. There is good in humankind. There is good in humankind. And I say, stand tall. Don't drag it out. Realize when they will fall out. Yeah, it was quite good. And you did some good lectures. I did some terrible ones because I had no idea what I was doing, to be honest.
No, you did some great lectures, man. It was really, really good. And I guess I am ever the publicist. People
decide that you either get left behind or you just get carried along. And I don't want to be carried along. I want I want to be involved in the flow of the ocean.
Well, I always got that impression from you that you were always ready to be a part of the charge. You weren't content with just sitting back and letting things happen. You want to be a part of the charge, a part of the action. And that's one thing that I was really drawn to you. I mean, you came to one of my gigs and you jammed with the band, didn't you?
Yeah. I was the thing was, I at the time, I was in the middle of a bit of a legal dispute with a university over the disabilities, and just because they were on a hill and I was in a wheelchair. So I had to redo some stuff that never got seen. So we went to this pub to talk about it, me and this girl, and then we went to your gig. And because I couldn't handle the pressure that, they were putting on me, I was a bit drunk by the time I got to you. That gig, that moment sort of motivated me to think, flipping heck, the feedback I got from people, and had all these tunes in my head and was just praying that, I would get them down with the help of another guy in the class or meeting the right producer. And I just thought when I did that, I was like, I stepped up to the plate and I did roughly all right. I gave a Pete Doherty style performance, but now I'm a lot better.
But I think you've been quite busy, haven't you? I mean, you've over the years you've done quite a few projects.
My best mate and my PA, Lewis, he's in the background. He helped me fulfill a dream of going to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Luckily they helped us find a promoter and we didn't know what we were doing. I said to my friend, what sort of show do you want to do? Because I just want to do my songs. And he's a unique fellow because he's visually impaired and black and blind. He's a minority rainbow, I call him.
Yeah.
I called him that in the show. And he said, I just want to get dressed up like a woman. I just want to get dressed up into drag. So I was like, well, that's cool. That's fine. So as long as we reach that point, everything else in between it can be like this semi-autobiographical musical. So we had this tapas type show, and it got reviewed really well. And then we went back and we did another show, and that was a 4-star show. So we've never dropped below 3 or 4 stars. But to be fair, we don't rehearse the shows very much before we go up. And we read the crowd, so it changes. And having done 4 or 5 shows up there, I played Wayfest as well. It's the festival in Guildford.
I've played that with Osibisa. I've played the Wayfest with Osibisa.
Yeah, I played the little acoustic tent, but
yeah.
I didn't realise how well it was going because it got really full. And then when people started to hear, because I use a backing track sometimes, and this is where I was going through the backing track period, and people were just lining up outside, and I was thinking, what are they lining up for? Of course, they heard all the sound from the inside, and we'd drawn them away to the rustic tent. So by 5 degrees of separation, I'm in Osibisa, I'm in Crowded House, I'm in Split Ends, I'm in Fleetwood Mac. There's loads of bands I'm claiming now.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. That's amazing. Yeah, amazing.
But you always keep busy yourself. I see you going off to Russia a lot, private jets and living the life and stuff. So yeah, you introduced me to the Disability Channel initially. I think like the key thing for anybody starting out is just getting your ideas down. So it's like when I send you the initial demo, it might be I'm going into a studio in November, I can record those harmonica parts and send them back better. But the fact is, if I give you an idea and go, what do you think of this and then this, and because that's what it's about communicating with people. I got asked by friends and families who were looking to be creative, and the advice I give is, it's not just download an app, it's literally try anything that you think is going to work. I mean, the harmonica, for example, I saw it on TV on an Oasis Unplugged thing, and this guy, Mark Felton, was amazing, and I thought I could do that. And I remember my stepdad saying to me, there's quite a lot of hand movements in there. And I thought, no. And then I went and got one, and then within a week I was jamming with guitarists, and it didn't matter. I was, and I'd sort of picked it up, and I didn't want, because I knew probably I couldn't do the classic blues style, I just did the style that I wanted to do. You can't change my style. You've just got to try things. I brought an omnichord in the corner there, and even though it's part of toy, it's really useful now because I can't make the shapes of my hands. So sometimes just to go to something and play piano chords and actually have that feeling of I'm pressing this down and I'm going there, and that natural sort of creativity. But the software that's out there is amazing, and the apps are amazing, but you've got to just, I say to people, just get your idea down. It doesn't matter if it's one chord, one note, or a couple of bass notes. Get your idea down. If you take it to the right producer, they'll be able to hear that idea. Same thing with the film thing. Same thing with anything. If the idea is good enough, then the idea will spark. Let's hear you all go. Being in my position, you don't want to moan with me, but then you don't want to. I find that you want to challenge yourself, so you want to keep the genres open, and because people think, if they think I'm going to go and watch a disabled performer of any kind, I think they naturally feel uncomfortable. If I'm being honest, they think it's going to be some pity show, or you're going to be completely full of jokes. And that's been the toughest thing. And I'm getting used to now. I can actually say to you, and probably be the first one I've said in any interview, that if I go to the studio, some days I will get back and my legs from the arthritis will be so tight from the stress and the anxiety and the emotion that I might not be able to move or do anything for 4 or 5 days. I used to be slightly afraid of writing anything for that matter, because I think people will just laugh and judge, and they'll point and they'll think, well, there's something already wrong with him. It's the kid complex, there's something already wrong with him. So if he does this, then if he does it wrong, my God, it's going to be bad. So it was always this thing of like, it's easy around other disabled people to. When I went to a disabled school when I was younger, it was easy to be the number one student, to be the number one sports person. When I went to ordinary school or a mainstream school, I knew I'd never win, but I knew everyone would cheer for me.
Yeah.
I never got why. I thought, it's just probably out of bit of like, oh, poor lad, bit of pity, or maybe now maybe it's out of respect, but now I kind of embrace it and go, well, come on, because I want something different and new. I thought about writing a song for you and I. It sort of stuck into my head the other day, is that obviously you meet people and you might not see them every week or every couple of years in our case, but there's still that common ground, and it's not
and
just
vibe. There's a vibe between us, you know what I mean?
And when the world does open up again, I've done enough in the meantime to probably say to my contemporaries, come on, I'm ready. I'm in that mental place where I should be ready, not just to do interviews like this, but go further. And I want to get those songs published, and I'd be a liar if I didn't say I want. I got some wonderful. I wouldn't have put all that work in if I didn't want it to. The whole point initially was I wanted my little sister to have songs to remember me by. I think the way the world is, it's just so complicated, because people want you to be a spokesman, or they want you to say the right things. And you know what it's like, because being a black person, you're supposed to probably fight the power, and after a while you're like, I'm sick of fighting, man. What am I even fighting against anymore?
Exactly.
Now, it's like, I haven't got a problem with gay or bisexual people, but what I do have a problem is if you link disabled people in with that, they can be gay, they can be bi, they can be black, they can be anything they want to be.
But we all have our own battles that we have to fight. It's like, like me as a black person, I have a battle. You as a disabled person, maybe somebody as a gay person, but they're different battles.
My best friend, as an able-bodied person, had got some stuff brought against him because he wasn't. We were playing a disabled thing, and Tim and him weren't disabled in the sense of the word, and they wouldn't allow Tim to do a song. And I said, well, I'll give up one of mine, and they were like, no, he's not disabled. And I'm like, well, and they were pretty off against my friends. But that's not the first time I've had that. I've had that from other disabled people when I was at college. People going, well, you think you're better than us because you're getting an education. No, I don't think I'm better than you. I think I'm lucky that I had a mother that pulled me out of education, that I had to work my backside off to get one GCSE, let alone 4. And then to get a master's degree, I mean, God, the amount of medication I was on. But this is the thing, I don't want to have a competition with someone about how, like, you don't want to have a competition with someone about how black you are. I don't want to have a competition with someone how disabled I am. You just don't want to have a competition with someone about how fast he can run, Basically, I think the great thing about, music is it brings people together. But art brings people together, and I think the world is changing, but I think sometimes we've got to be less sensitive and more sort of like real about things and say, is this person really that bad? You know what I mean? Because I think now this whole, we're going to cancel this person, and it's like, whoa. Like, if that person, like, you look at Ricky Gervais's comedy, and you could say, right, call him out right now, and you could look at look at what David Bowie did back in the day in terms of image and stuff. Today, would that be tolerated? Probably not. So, it is what it is. But I think it's interesting. I think, it's interesting where we're heading. But I think as long as the ideas keep coming and we're all sort of understanding and no one brings an ego to the table, we're all right, because we'll all get on fine, because we'll all find a way to coexist. And I think that's the way the media is kind of going with this COVID thing, because they don't have a choice.
Exactly. They have to, it's almost like they're having to do things that they would never do politically, but they're having to do it socially and economically it's almost like it's getting to the point where they may have to put everybody on a universal wage. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
never do that, but they're having to do it because of the environment,
Yeah.
the situation that they find themselves into.
I mean, it's like the BBC. It's like as soon as this thing started, like every local radio station was playing me, right? And some of it was just because they found me. When the BBC got me the second time, it's like I've spoken to this presenter for years on Twitter. Play my stuff. As soon as we did the thing for the online Edinburgh Fringe, and I was open and not, frank about my disability, but I didn't have violins in the background. He went, all right, I'll put you on my show. So finally, after all that, but then it was a song that I wrote 10 years ago, which I remember saying to you, it's called Dylan and Philosophy. And you said to me, God, you come up with great song titles. And I thought that's about the only thing I do. And I work them in there somehow. But yeah, no, it's weird. And the thing is at the end of it, to be paid a compliment, to be called too sophisticated, you never think, oh God, that's another battle now I have to overcome. It's like the artistic one, but there's always a battle for everyone. The problem is it's not to let it grind you down. I'm one of these people where sometimes it fuels me, and sometimes I have to have people stop me and say, you're getting too caught up in this. You need to let it go, because you're not going to grow and you're not going to progress. And it hurts me that there's still people in the world that would, that have a failure to understand, other people just on a basic level, and they only look at what they can get from you, not what. Long term, I'm a good investment for any record deal, for any record company. I mean, I'd go on TV, I'd do a lot for people. I can make people a hell of a lot of money, but and I'm not stupid. But the beautiful thing is about it is, it's gonna, things are gonna happen and things are moving. And with this whole COVID thing, what I like, I love doing the charity stuff. This song Wheelchair Sex that I wrote, which really divides opinion. You can't write about someone in a disability having sex. How dare you? Right? So I went to this pub and I thought it was a joke. I thought that, and I always think it's a joke when people come and go on and shake your hand. But don't get upset, because tonight we're just sex. But it's great that that base, whether they're friends or fans or both, they're coming up with t-shirt ideas and different ideas to keep pushing me forward. And it's when other people say, oh, actually, can you give us some advice? It's good to actually say, I have no advice to give other than just do it. So we smashed it, and it was great that you heard the recording.
And I think we're just going to leave it now, because we could go on for hours, man. We could literally. But I'm glad we couldn't. We should be meeting up in a place with a guitar and just jamming in the corner. Oh, we'll do that.
Goodbye, Greg.
Goodbye, Shaun.
Goodbye,
we'll speak to you soon. Yeah.
Yeah, speak to you soon.
All right.
Stranger. Bye.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it on a chair on the floor. The next possession gets whoa.